Okay, so to illustrate this, how we do that on graphs, I got my own hockey stick here, old school. This is like a 15-year-old hockey stick. It's wooden. They don't make them out of wood anymore. But anyway, it'll help us here, okay? So I just ran up the stairs. I'm out of breath, sorry. So for example one, if we were to determine just on the graph, is this a function? Okay, I can use this hockey stick here, or it's called the vertical line test. Okay, a vertical line is a line that's just straight up and down. Okay, and I would just want to imagine a vertical line scanning across the graph. Okay, and what I look for is any points, any spots on the graph where more than one point would hit that vertical line at the same time. Okay, so if I scan across this graph, okay, there's a point right here. There's no other points that's at that same spot, so I'm good. I keep going. I move it over. There's another point right here, but there's no other points along that spot, so I'm good. And then I get to my last one. There's no other points along that spot either, so I'm good. So this passes the vertical line test, meaning every point hits this vertical line only once, and there's no spots where a vertical line hits 2 points at the same time. That's the bigger thing. Okay. Now, for example, 2, we said this was not a function. You're going to see why based on the vertical line test too. If I run it across here, boom, it hits that point right there, but there's no other points at that spot, so I'm good. But if I scan it a little bit more and I get to here, you notice right there, like an alarm bell would go off right there, because those 2 points hit the vertical line at the same time, okay? So that would be a failed vertical line test, okay? Because those 2 points fall on the same vertical line, and that's no good, okay? So again, that would fail the vertical line test, okay? And that's why does it fail? Because again, that's the graph's way of showing, hey, those have the same x value. It doesn't pass the test because this x value is 5 and this x value is 5, okay? So let me just show you one more thing with graphs that we can do, because sometimes graphs are more complicated than just points. So let me show you real quick. One more thing with the vertical line test. Okay, guys, so I have 2 graphs of lines, some crazy lines, okay, but there's still lines on here, okay, because sometimes we see graphs that are not just individual points, but that are lines, okay? We're going to go over that later in the year too, but we can apply the vertical line test to these as well, okay, because with a line, it follows the same rule. If there's a spot where the vertical line touches the line on the graph more than once at the same time, it's not a function, okay? Because these are still relations, these two. So these still follow the same rule with relations, okay? So if I apply the vertical line test to answer, is this a function, okay? Again, I'm looking for does it hit this line ever more than once at the same time? If I do that, right, this line, it kind of looks like maybe, like if this was like a complete vertical line here, like it looks like it's straightening out, maybe it would be there, but I'll tell you, this is a quadratic, this is a parabola, is the fancy name for this, and this would never, you can zoom in on it a lot, and it would never actually have the same x value more than once, okay, at this spot. And we'd scan all the way across, yeah, and so this would pass the vertical line test. It would be a yes, which is very good, very happy. Okay, but this guy, the second one, okay, the zigzaggy line, if we apply the vertical line test to this, again, we're looking for any spots where it overlaps or any spots where it touches this line more than once at the same time. And we see right there, okay, again, pretend like it's just a real thin vertical line scanning right there. This vertical line hits there, and there, all at the same time, okay? So again, that would signify that it has repeating x values, okay? Which means that this is not a function, okay? Because it has those 3 points that hit the vertical line at the same time. So that is no, not a function, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Let's just do a few more examples just to make sure we got it, and that'll be it. Okay, guys, our last thing here, we are answering, is the relation a function for these 5 different relations, okay? Is it a function? It's just a yes or no thing, okay? And again, remember, the big thing is, does it have a repeating x value? Again, we don't want that. Or with a graph, does it pass that vertical line test, okay? So number one, we look at this. Go down the line. The y values don't matter. The y values you could even just cover up. Just pretend they're not even there. It's just the x values. And you see, okay, hey, -4, -4. You see that? That's a repeating x value. That x value has more than one y value associated with it. So no way, Jose. This is not a function. Okay. Number two, break out my hockey stick here. Number two, does it pass that vertical line test? And if this is confusing to you, you could always write out what the ordered pairs are. Like this point is at -8, 7. You can actually write out all the digits of them and then see, do any of the x values repeat? It's a little bit more work, but if this is confusing to you, then you can do that, okay? Again, the big question is, are there ever more than one point at the same time hitting this vertical line? And so I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Some of these are close, but there's never any spot where more than one of these points hits the vertical line at the same time. So that means this is, yes, this is a good function, okay? Number three, now this is weird, okay? I just wanted to show you one of these because you might see these on different assessments and things. This is called a mapping diagram. I don't really like them, but again, I just wanted to show you because you might see them at some point. What this is saying is, right, you can kind of get the idea. These are the x values, these are the y values. For every arrow, that's the value it goes with. So like, for example, it would be -3, -9, -7, -2, and etc. Okay. So anyway, again, same idea. We want to look for repeating x values, but with these, you don't just look for, right? You see all the numbers here are different, but that's not it. You also want to look at the arrows. Okay. So how this is right now, right? There's only one arrow stemming from each different x value. So this is a good function. Okay. Yes. But sometimes they'll show you, like, let's add an arrow in here if it was like that, right? If it had like a second arrow coming from the 3 going to the 2 and to the -9, then it would be not a function because that x value then has 2 y values associated with it. Okay, so but without that orange arrow, yes, it is good. Okay. Number 4, so this is listing it just as ordered pairs, okay? So again, with these, it can be a little hard because you see all the numbers kind of at once, and they're not in like these nice columns. So, but again, the x values are the first ones in each group, okay? So we want to just focus on those, okay? So 5, 3, 0, 4. There's no repeating x values, okay? But you might be saying, if you're observing, you might be saying, oh, but there's repeating ones, so that's not a function. That's true, and if you saw that, that's a good thing. But those are y values. Those are y values. And now those can repeat. Those can all be the same. These could all be ones in the y value position, and it would still be a function. Okay, we're only concerned with the x values. As long as the x values are all different, we're good. Okay, so this would also be yes. Okay. And then number 5, I have my squiggly line like the ones we just saw. Break out my hockey stick again. And again, I'm looking for, is there any points where the line hits, or this vertical line hits the line on here more than once at the same time? And I go, boom. Doesn't take us too long, right? This line, this imaginary vertical line would hit right here, and right here, kind of all at the same time. So that would show like a repeating x value and would then make this not a function. No, it would not pass the test. Okay, so that is functions. Thanks so much for watching. Good job.